brace yourself. Everything that you thought you knew about XRP and that shiny new banking standard might actually be totally upside down. So here's the crazy part. The deeper that I dug into ISO 20022, the mysterious code that's about to run the world's payment plumbing, the more I realized that XRP isn't trying to hijack the system at all. It's actually sneaking in through the side door, waiting to settle billions while everyone else argues about the rules. So stick around, because by the end of this story, you're going to see why the real money might flow where nobody's looking, and how that could affect your next coffee purchase or your next multi-million-dollar wire. So picture me last week, right? I'm standing in line at my bank, clutching a paper form just to move a few $100 overseas. The teller disappears longer than my cat does when I say vet appointment, and my fee that they quoted felt like I'd accidentally tried to buy a whole branch of the bank. Now, meanwhile, of course, on my phone, I could flick XRP across the planet in the time that it took the guy behind me to sigh for the third time, right? 3 to 5 seconds, near zero fees, no jet lag. Now, that's the magic trick that Ripple's been showing off for years, and it matches the exact vibe of ISO 20022 is chasing. Faster, richer, smarter payments. Now, here is where everyone gets tangled, right? You'll hear people shout XRP isn't ISO 20022 compliant, and guess what? They're kind of right, but mostly missing the point. ISO 20022 is just a messaging format, a fancy envelope for payment instructions, right? You don't greet your mailman and say, nice envelope. You must be Gmail compliant, right? It's the same thing here, right? A digital asset like XRP cannot be ISO 20022 compliant any more than a dollar bill can be PDF compliant. Right? It's the messaging layer, the software glue that banks use, that has to speak the language. Now, Ripple's enterprise platform does, and that's the piece that plugs straight into the new standard. So think of Ripple's system as the multilingual friend on the international road trip. Banks scream legacy, dialects, and ISO 20022 sings in modern prose, right? And Ripple translates on the fly while XRP handles the cash in the back seat. Through one unified API, basically the Starbucks mobile app for bankers, institutions can send their instructions in ISO 20022, then choose to let XRP zip the actual value across the borders. No core system heart surgeries, no weekend shutdowns, just a software add-on that speaks fluent future. And the timing, it couldn't be juicier. Swift, the granddaddy of global messaging, says all its members have to talk ISO 20022 full-time by 2025. That's like forcing every radio station to adopt Spotify's playlist formats, right? Anyone who refuses will sound static, right? Ripple saw this coming in 2020, waltzed into the ISO 20022 standards body, and set up shop as the first blockchain native in the room. Bold move, right? While other chains kind of printed slogans, we're ISO ready, right? Ripple racked up more than 300 financial partners actually testing pipes in the real world. So grab a quick mental snapshot of these stats then. 1,500 transactions per second. Energy light, carbon neutral, no mining farms frying polar ice, and settlements finality in under 5 seconds. Now, if you tried to match that with traditional component banking, well, you'd need a small army of spreadsheets, a pocket full of patience, and possibly a prayer candle. All these kind of perks line up so neatly with ISO 20022's goals, it's kind of almost poetic. faster rails meet faster settlements. But hold that thought, because there's a curveball here. Central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, are flooding the group chat. On the surface, CBDCs could elbow out bridge assets like XRP. Now, if every country had its own digital currency, maybe they would just swap directly. Yet, here's the twist. They still need something neutral to settle the score between country A's token and country B's token. Otherwise, it's like two teenagers trying to Venmo each other in different applications. It freezes at the handshake. Now, XRP, being borderless and liquid, could slide right into that inter-CBDC role, greasing the kind of gears every time those government coins bump into each other. Okay, so let me rewind to a dinner that I had with a compliance officer friend. Yes, exciting social life, I know, right? Now, between bites of shawarma, he tells me that their team is, petrified of new messaging standards because any tweak to old systems can blow up reporting audits. Now, Ripple's answer? Keep your old core. Here's an adapter. Now, they literally map ISO 20022 fields into whatever mutant database the banks already uses. It's kind of like Lego blocks instead of, demolition. That's why institutions perk up, right? Nobody wants to rebuild a 40-year-old castle just to kind of install Wi-Fi. Still, there's an elephant tap dancing in the boardroom. Regulation. Now, for years, the US SEC lawsuit hung over, or kind of hovered over, Ripple like a cartoon thundercloud following one unlucky character. Now, even with a partial courtroom victory, some executives hit pause on adoption. Fast forward to now, final regulatory clarity has arrived. No more guessing if the asset is a security every other kind of Tuesday. Now, suddenly, those same executives are emailing for demo requests faster than free donuts vanish in an office kitchen. Now, when legal fog lifts, money moves, at least loves to kind of sprint. Yet, skepticism is healthy, right? Other projects, Stellar, Algorand, XDC, Quant, wave their kind of own ISO banners, right? They bring cool tech, but fewer real-world deals on the scoreboard. It's kind of like comparing hobby drones to a fleet that's already delivered Amazon packages, right? Adoption wins over theory 9 times out of 10. That's not shade, it's just the game. So here's the real problem though. Most everyday people, and honestly most crypto holders, still confuse messaging with settlement, right? They picture one giant switch flipping and suddenly XRP moons, but ISO 20022 isn't a moon launch button, it's a translation guide. Without liquidity, without settlement workhorses, right, speedy messages are just digital postcards, right? Hi from London, your payment will arrive someday. Right? Now, Ripple designed XRP to be that workhorse, right? Hitch it to any message and off it gallops. Okay, so let's dig deeper with a kind of quick back of the napkin math, right? Imagine a bank in Dubai owes a supplier in Mexico, right? Pre-ISO upgrade, the Dubai bank queues a Swift message, hops through several correspondent banks, each kind of skimming a fee and a day. Meanwhile, good luck if time zones overlap, a weekend. Right? With Ripple's setup, Dubai's bank pings its message in ISO 20022 flavor, right? The message suits across to Mexico's partner instantly. XRP sloshes value across in seconds, and both ledgers settle while the coffee machine is still frothing. That's not sci-fi, that's the live demo territory. Of course, nothing moves without trust, right? Banks trust standards bodies because they're boring, and that's a compliment in finance, right? Ripple anchoring itself inside ISO 20022 reassures kind of risk teams that this isn't some kind of cowboy coding, right? It's actually sanctioned, documented, peer-reviewed plumbing. Now that's one less kind of of hurdle for adoption, which in turn deepens XRP's liquidity, which makes transactions cheaper, which kind of entices more banks, right? Positive kind of flywheel engaged. And so the climax of this saga? Picture the date, November 2025. ISO 20022 is now the only language in town. A kind of bulge bracket bank flips the switch globally, right? Enabling Ripple settlements by default. Suddenly, corporate treasuries notice wires that used to take, 2+ days now finalize, during a single Zoom call. CFOs love saving on float, shareholders notice margins uptick, and rival banks scramble not to look like dial-up internet in a fiber world. Now, meanwhile, of course, you're at home reloading your phone's wallet, realizing the same tech that saved pennies for JP Morgan also shaved fees on your mum's remittance. And here's the kicker. None of this means XRP must replace fiat or overthrow central banks. It just does one job ridiculously well: bridge liquidity, and then steps back, right? It's the stunt double, right? Not the superstar. But as every Hollywood veteran knows, the stunt double gets the kind of tough scenes done so that a hero looks flawless. So where does this leave us right now? Well, adoption is still the metric to watch. Regulation is clearing. CBDCs are coming faster than avocado toast trend cycles. Ripple is already in the committee rooms, and ISO 20022, like clockwork, is marching towards its deadline. Put those pieces together and you almost hear the ticking sound of a massive lock turning. Now, before we wrap up, quick reminder, if you want to keep this conversation rolling 24/7, hop into our free crypto Discord server. There's a link in the description down below. We're breaking news, sharing charts, and occasionally dethroning each other's meme, at least in meme contests, right? And of course, if you're ready to kind of fire your first cross-border shot with zero to hero fees, sign up to Blowfin, right? The up-and-coming crypto exchange that everyone's whispering about. There's also a link in the description below. Test drive XRP or any other token to see firsthand why speed and cost matters. And so, next time that someone on Twitter yells XRP isn't ISO compliant, so it's doomed, you'll know that that is nonsense, right? The message and the money are two different tracks, right? And Ripple built the bridge between them, right? Whether banks sprint across that bridge or tiptoe, the rails are laid. The standard is live, and the countdown to the 2025 ISO compliancy is just around the corner. And we've already hit play on that countdown.